This is my review of Pokémon the movie, White/Black, Victini and Zekrom /Reshiram. For whatever reason, Pokémon decided to split this into two movies, and I really have no idea why. They're far too similar in too many ways to be split into two separate films. I see no justification for this decision. So I personally just watched the White movie, so this is what I'm going to be reviewing. But for the purposes of reviewing all official Pokémon movies, whatever is exactly the same in the Pokémon Black movie will be covered by this review of Pokémon White. What did I like? Unfortunately, this was not a particularly good movie. There were not many things that I liked at all. I struggled to even think of specific things that I liked. But overall, I guess it was a watchable movie. A movie as abominable as Volcanion and the Mechanical Marvel. And that took everything within me to sit through that piece of garbage. So, though there weren't really things that stood out in terms of what I liked in Pokemon White, overall it was a more watchable movie when compared to the worst Pokemon movie. But that's not much of a comparison because it's really hard to not be better than that atrocity. What did I not like? There was no real villain in the movie. I'm not saying you need a very evil villain to have a good movie, but it definitely helps. It gives the protagonist something to band together against and work together to overthrow and overcome. It gives the plot more depth and substance. But I just didn't feel like Damon was an adequate villain because he wasn't really the villain. He was just trying to achieve his own purposes. But there was no malevolent intent behind his actions, so far as I could tell. Reshiram and Zekrom did not get enough screen time, and I find these two legendaries far more interesting than Victini, so that they got mostly shelved in favour of an annoying little thing is frustrating to say the least. And something I hate, and I mean absolutely hate to see in anything to do with Pokemon, is Pokemon in pain. I understand the purpose of these things is to battle, and they are creatures with the capacity to experience pain. I understand this, but when it's constant and for no good reason, it really irks me. The best other example I can cite to show what I mean is in Pokemon the movie 2000, when the villain has the Kanto legendary birds in the floating prison cells with the walls electrocuted, so that whenever they touch the walls they're electrocuted. Oh, it's so off-putting, it actually makes me sick. And this is not something that I generally want to feel when I'm watching a Pokemon movie. So when Victini goes outside the perimeter of the city and he's in pain every time it tries to do so, I really did not appreciate that. And just as a plot point, I don't really like it. To think that Victini has been a prisoner in the same city for hundreds of years, it's just not something that sits well with me as a viewer. I don't like the premise. It just doesn't sit right. And Victini is not one of my favourite mythical Pokemon. Actually, as a Pokemon, I don't really like Victini. The way he's depicted in this movie is not favourably. I understand that he's been trapped for hundreds of years. I sympathise with him on that point, but just in the way he interacts with humans, I really don't find him interesting. I don't think it's interesting enough to bear the weight to be the main mythical Pokemon in a movie. And it also could have something to do with Victini not being able to speak human language. This isn't a hard and fast rule, because a lot of my favourite Pokemon movies don't have Pokemon who can speak human language, but it can certainly help, especially in terms of effectively conveying the motivations behind the Pokemon and their actions. A movie that does this very well is Kyurem vs. the Swords of Justice. Although it was pertinent to the movie, because most of the screen time was taken up by Kyurem and the Swords of Justice, and not human characters, it just helped to give us, the viewer, a deeper insight into the thought processes and motivations of the Pokemon in the movie. It gives us a deeper look beyond the superficial into what makes the Pokemon tick, so to speak. And that's something that this movie definitely lacked. Unfortunately, this was not a great movie. I did not enjoy it. It was pretty hard to sit through, to be honest. There were times when I definitely wanted to turn it off. So I'm going to give Pokemon the movie White a 3 out of 10. Thanks for listening to my review. Check out some other videos on my channel for more Pokemon and anime related content.